guys, it's Tessa Jeffers for PremierGuitar.com. I'm in Nashville at Summer NAMM at the Rocktron booth with Frank Lamara. What do you have to show us today?
Today I have a whole new series of products with Rocktron. We have a new preamp called the Widowmaker. We have a new preamp called the ValveSonic. And we have a new version of our Velocity 100 called the LTD. So I'll be running you through that whole system. Right now it's going through a 412 that I've actually modified slightly just for the NAMM show, because at 85 dBs it's tremendously difficult to get any kind of sound. So I've sort of like put a tone broth thing I do, which sort of diffuses the high end at the low speakers, and the top speakers are a little more normal, so it sounds like you would expect it to sound.
It's a good idea.
Show. So you like that?
Done this before.
Okay, a few times, yes. It's my addiction, so. But the first thing we have here is the Widowmaker, and we'll start out with the clean channel. Just a nice, pretty. So this is an all solid state pre, so it's a really nice clean channel out of a pre. Good companion for a guy who wants a metal sound and have a good clean sound. And this is the distorted side of it. The beauty of the Rocktron products is being rack mounted. It's a touring player, it's a guy who's got a small rig, playing in his basement, playing clubs, studio. It's great for recording. But it's a nice, simple, relatively inexpensive gadget. It has a lot of tone and was really meant to be a serious rock preamp. Rocktron's always been about being like high gain and having, can I say ballsy?
Yes.
Okay, ballsy sound. So that's what we wanted to have in this Widowmaker. And it's kind of taken the two major, especially the more modern metal bands, the two major components, a really nice clean sound and a real awesome distortion. So that's what we wanted to have in a solid state package that was very affordable. Now what we have over here in the ValveSonic is really kind of my ultimate creation of what do I want in an amplifier, and this is focusing on the preamp side. And what I did here was took every combination of any classic British sound. Can I say the manufacturer? Is that not allowed? I can't say it, but they start with an M. Which was based upon a Fender Bassman, and it has a whole series of differences on the input tubes. You have different combinations of capacitors and resistors, bright caps, different gain stages. So I went through and figured out what everybody's done from a JTM 45 all the way to like a modern high gain, hot rodded 80s type or 90s Marshall or any of the Bogner diesels, any of those kind of amps. They all have the same basic platforms with different voicings. So this will start out a very nice clean. Which is basically the circuitry that was in like your first JTM 45. Now these bright switches will take you all the way throughout the years, and these were all done to make the Marshalls brighter throughout I didn't say that name. Throughout the years. And then you have the different inputs. One's a fatter sound, and the other one tightens it up. These are the two popular input combinations. A little less ballsy bottom, because when you started getting to more gain, they started tightening it up and brightening it up. When we do the gain thing, also there's EQ too, the two major EQs. A little more mid-range focus. The one thing I did here was I call this an Afterburner, and when you kick this in, it comes in after the EQ stage. And when you kick this in, this gives it more of the. So, and that really is emulating sort of a phase inverter overload kind of thing, which is really an important component of what we think is a power tube distortion. So I put that in there. And there's also a little high cut when you start to get into high gain. You know, sometimes that can be brittle, so I also give that a little bit of a cut, very similar to what the cut is like on a Vox. But the gain stages, this kicks in the kind of your 80s extra. Then you get into more of the 90s and more modern. And then you can adjust how much gain you want in the front or in the back, and you can make this kind of massive, you know. Have in one single rack space pre is the entire gamut of classic rock to modern high gain amplifiers in one package.
What is that streeting for?
It streets for about, I think it's $6.99.
Is it available now?
It'll be available in the next few months. Right now, this is the very first production piece. So we're talking about fall, you know, by the time it becomes market. But the thing is, this is all tubes. It's got 4 tubes. It's pure. It's in terms of, it's all the componentry that's in your analog classic amps. There's nothing digital about it. It's all tube. It's all classic. State of the art.
Tube. It just goes in a rack.
Right. State of the art 1950s technology. This last tube, the Afterburner, also you can switch the 12AX7 to a U or 12AT7, which gives you a little different push. The U is a little bit punchier, bigger, and then the 12AX7 is more high gain, and the T somewhere in between. So the most flexible preamp on the market, period. And we'll have versions of this, kind of the classic British, the other British one that starts with a V, but I can't tell you their name. And then we'll also have an American, starts with an F company, anywhere from...
Those are your next projects, you mean?
Yeah, from that to like a Dumbo style, like a California Overdrive, and an even more metal version. So we'll have about a family of 3 or 4 of these to kind of cover the whole gamut. But right now, this is like the major that covers most of the tone spectrum that you want from like a classic rock amp. And then finally, we have the Velocity 100 LTD. And what we did was, the original amp had no tone controls, basically. So a lot of people run solid-state amps without any type of equalization. And while it sounds good, it doesn't really have cojones. And so we put a resonance and a presence control, which is really just lows and highs in a power amp. And it just gives it more beef. And we're going to be doing that to all the other power amps, updating the oomph. Okay, how about that? To all the power amps. And that's essentially what we got here. So we got a nice family of new products and 100 more to come in the next couple.
Exciting. Where can people go to find out more information about these?
Go to Rocktron.com, and we should have most of the new information available too.
Thanks for playing through it all. People like to hear it. Thanks.
Great. Appreciate it. Good to see you.
This is Tessa Jeffers for PremierGuitar.com.